Hi, this is Terry from Fabric Junction in Sturgis, South Dakota. And today I'm going to show you a simple pillow. All you need is 16 blocks. They can be any size. The ones I'm going to show you are a 5. That's what the pillow was made out of here. These were 5-inch blocks. The one I'm working on is 6.5-inch blocks. So if you want a bigger pillow, go to a 6.5. The key to having an idea of how big your pillow is if you would measure, and this just gives you kind of a rough across, that'll give you an approximate finish. So like the 5-inch pillow finished at about 13. Theoretically, my 16.5-inch squares should finish at about 16.5. I'm sorry, I'm reading my tape. My 6.5-inch squares should finish off at about a 16.5-inch pillow. And that's just an approximate because it depends on your seam allowance. And I used a 1/4-inch seam allowance, 16 of my squares, and as you see, I have them all sewn together. I did lay out a specific design, but you don't have to. Lay out as you would like. Sew them together like we do our 9-patch, except you got 16 of them. So start up here and take this one, flip it over, flip it over, flip it over, flip it over. So take your chain, add this one, and then come back and sew the length. I know that's something we've done many, many, many times. The neat thing about this one is, once you have that sewn, you fold it in half and you sew each end. So that's what I'm going to do real quick here. We'll sew the ends of the pillow. This will be a great one if you're teaching your children to sew. This one is big enough, I'm just going to run this on the other end here. Okay, I have both ends sewn. Excuse me. Get my water. I have both ends open, and this is both ends open. I'm sorry. Both ends sewn closed and the opposite end open. So now what we want to do is those ends that you just sewn, we want to match them up. And then we're going to sew again across 2. Now we're going to have to turn and fill the pillow. So my first one, I cross over that seam because I'm going to leave an opening about my hand's width. But I don't like when I fill something for the seams to start to come apart or stretch or get really, really distorted. So on this side, I'm going to start, and it doesn't have to be a lot. A couple stitches forward, I'm going to back stitch, and then I'm going to go across that seam, match up my other one, and then go back, and then this one I start again just a little ahead of where I match it up so that I've got a nice opening so I can turn it and stuff it. Match up my, there we go. And again about an inch or so forward, back. Okay, once we have that done, now it's time to turn it. Always a nice wad. And then we find those sections that has the points. You can reach in. Normally I would use my tweezer to get the points out to where I need them. There's another one. There's one over here maybe. There it is. And one more. Here we go. So once we get all our points out, here is the pillow. We have our hold of stuff. Once you have it stuffed, come back and just do a little stitch to close it. If you decide to use a button, I use a heavier thread like a button carpet thread or a real thin cord. A lot of times we use it in crocheting and that like. You can put one button or you can put two, but whatever, go through, pull it tight so that we get that nice little dent. And then this one will be, we go across. Well, I finished at 16 and a half. Not bad. So now if you want a little bigger, if you want it bigger, use bigger squares. If you need it smaller, use a smaller. But here is your size of a 5-inch square, and this one is the size of a 6.5-inch square. So hopefully you like this simple little pillow that you can make. As you can see, it doesn't take a lot of time. Go through your scraps, have fun, do it with your kids or your grandkids. And thank you for watching us here at Fabric Junction, and do check out our website at junctionfabric.com.